Hey, what's going on, GameLeapers? This is Eeks, and in today's video, we're going to be getting into some more changes that have been released on Twitter by some of the Riot devs. So in this video, expect to learn more about item changes and prices, what they even look like as well. Also, there's a lot of jungle changes that are coming in to the preseason and for Season 12, so we'll get into all of them as well. So this video will give you kind of like a groundwork, kind of like a perception of how the future of League is going to look, and probably for next season. So I'd highly recommend sticking around for the whole thing. And guys, if you do want to up your game and take it to the next level, make sure you check out our website, linked in the description and comment section at GameLeap.com, because the content that our challenger players and coaches are producing for you, it's daily, it's fresh, it's original. There's champion courses, there's guides, there's highly VOD analyses that will help show you what you have to start doing that the best players in the world do. So check out those links and get signed up to get that exclusive access to our library of content. And yeah, let's get into the changes. So first of all, we're going to talk about all the item changes, and the first of these, which could be the biggest one, is happening to Archangel's Staff or Sarah's Embrace once it upgrades. No longer is it going to give you HP. So the Kindle Gem, part of the item, this has been removed. And instead it's now giving you ability haste, and the AP has increased from 60 all the way to 100, which is pretty crazy, and this is really good, obviously, for champions who rely on mana. So we're talking champions like Ryze, like Anivia, lots of mages in the mid lane. And thankfully, instead of giving you ability haste for all the bonus mana you have, it will now give you AP. This is how the old Sarahs used to work, and ever since Season 11 or pre-Season 11, when they changed all the items, lots of champions who actually built the old Sarahs became a lot worse because they just dealt so much less damage. So this is basically just a revert to how it was back in the day. Lots of people are excited about this, and I think this is going to be a really good change for the Rift. Now moving on, another AP item here that is getting brought back into the game, and this received a lot of love. Rod of Ages is coming back. Now the build path, a little different to before, so Catalyst, Blasting Wand, and then an Amp Tome. And it looks exactly the same, and once again, this item coming back is amazing for champions who need the Catalyst level up and the mana it gives you, and just the overall stats from the item as well. So once again, champions like Ryze, champions like Anivia, they have really missed these items, so to see these two back, many players are going to be happy about this. Now as far as the other items in the game, the last video we made talking about these items, we didn't actually know how much they were going to cost and what they were actually built out of. So here we have the tank mythics for them. Icathia's Endurance, the build path. Aegis of Legion, which is now only 1200 gold, so decreased by 200. Then Kindle Gem and a Ruby Crystal. This is 3000 gold. Now the next one, Iceborne Gauntlet, which is making a return as well. It's not giving you mana like it did back in the day, but it's building out of some similar stuff. So we have Sheen, Kindle Gem, Chain Vest, and this is another tank mythic, and this is costing 3000 gold. Now the most expensive tank mythic, this is Goliath's Ascendery, and this is building out of Kindle Gem, Crystalline Bracer, and then Giant's Belt. This item at the moment as well on the PBE, so you guys can actually test all these items out, has proven to be really broken because of the actual HP you get from one of its passives, so it has been nerfed a little bit already, but this is the most expensive tank mythic. Now the other tank mythic in the game, Radiant Virtue. This is building out of the new Aegis, 1200 gold, Kindle Gem, and a Ruby Crystal. So those are all the tank mythics, those are the prices, guys, that are currently on PBE and will likely be in the game come pre-season. Now the updated Randuin's Omen build path and all the other items that aren't mythics we'll now get into. So for Randuin's, Warden's Mail, and then Giant's Belt. So this is like how it was back in the day, but the price is increasing by 200 to 2900. And this will still remain as the big anti-crit item and also slowing item, so if you need a bit more kite in your team to kite champions like Udyr or close range champions, Randuin's is still the go-to. Now Turbo Chemtank is no longer going to be a mythic in the next patch, so what Riot have done here, it's 2800 gold, which is exactly what it is at the moment, but it's building out a Kindle Gem, a Negatron Cloak, and then a Ruby Crystal. So there's no more Balmy Cinder here, there's no more Immolate passive. Turbo Chemtank is really just specifically for the magic resist it's going to give you. You can see there's no armor here, so if you're building Chemtank, you either want it for the movement speed in the active and for the anti-AP. Now next up we have Sunfire Aegis, and this item exactly the same as Chemtank, 2800 gold, and notice here that Sunfire still has the Immolate passive because of Balmy Cinder. Turbo Chemtank will no longer have this, so this is a big thing to consider, and with Chain Vest as well, that's what it's building out of. And the new Sunfire, if you didn't watch our previous video, is no longer giving you magic resist. So Chemtank for magic resist, Sunfire for armor. That's how you should think about it. Now Abyssal Mask is also getting updated, so the current iteration is 2700 gold, this is 3000 gold, so a bit of an increase here, and it's building out of Catalyst and then Spectre's Cow. Now maybe one of the drawbacks of this is that champions who, well, they want to go tank, but they might not need the mana, right? So having Catalyst in here, you know, it's not probably the most important thing for tank champions, so that might put a lot of players off actually building this item, but again, this will still be one of the premier magic resist options. Now Spear of Shojin, any Jax players, Renekton players, there will be a bunch of other top lane bruiser fighter champions who can abuse this. This is going to cost 3400 gold, Warhammer, BF Sword, Kindle Gem. So it's costing you a whopping amount of gold, but as I said, for those top lane bruisers and fighters, this could be one of the best items for next patch. Now the last item change that we know about, this is to Tiamat. So the AD ratio is just getting nerfed from 60% to 50%, and that's for melee champions who are mostly going to build this item. And to be honest, I don't even know why Tiamat is getting nerfed. It's a pretty underused item, especially when Riot got rid of the active in it. Lots of champions who were building it before, like maybe Rengar, like Shaco. Like only a couple of champions build this at the moment, so maybe Fiora, maybe a bit of Camille, but that's about it. So Tiamat getting nerfed, this just looks really questionable, but that is the final item change. Now as far as the rest of the game goes, just a couple of big picture changes here. There are some remake changes. So the start time is going to be reduced from 3 minutes to 1:30. So the time at which you can actually ask your team to FF and remake the game, this is 90 seconds earlier. And the window length, when you can actually press yes and FF that game, is going to 90 seconds. So you've got a lot more time to actually decide. The player might randomly come back instantly. Now as far as the jungle goes, there are so many changes here. So first of all, there are new jungle items. So Ember Knife and Hellblade, these are getting replaced by Noxian Embercat, Ixtali Ixamander, and also Ionian Cloud Leaper. Now basically, all you have to remember here is that the red one, so Noxian Embercat, this is kind of going to be like Red Smite at the moment, where you're burning enemy champions over a period of time. At maximum stacks as well, you will also slow enemy champions, so this will obviously be good for consistent damage dealers. Now the next one is the tank one. So the Ixtali Ixamander, this is going to give you a health shield, and this will actually regenerate over time when you're out of combat, so champions like Sejuani, Zac, Rammus, obviously tanky champions, this will be really good for. And the final one, Ionian Cloud Leaper, this is going to give you movement speed. So if you're playing an assassin in the jungle, this sounds great, right? Getting around the map, getting more kills, and maybe you can use this on other champions as well. Maybe tank champions might appreciate this because they really just want to go around the map and make plays and gank lanes, right? So there might be a bit of versatility here, but those are the new 3 jungle items. Now Smite is also getting changed, so it's no longer going to heal you, but the damage is increasing from 450 to 600. Now the first upgrade is going to transform it into Primal Smite, and this actually allows you to smite champions, and this will deal true damage and slow them by 20% or a couple of seconds. Now the second upgrade transforms it into Avatar Smite, and this increases damage to 1200 and deals 50% AoE damage to non-champs and pet effects. So there are a bunch of jungle changes here, and speaking of those pet effects, you are getting a jungle pet now, guys. So the jungle pet that you have by your side, depending on the jungle item you choose at the start of the game, this is dealing damage based off your bonus HP, AP, attack damage, and this will be true damage per attack against monsters, and they will also heal for 100% of the damage dealt. So basically, it doesn't matter if you're building HP or AP or attack damage, regardless of what type of jungler you're playing, the jungle pet is going to be useful for you. Now, a couple of other details revolving around the jungle pet. This is going to retain gold and XP penalties from Funly. Now, it is going to grant bonus XP for first large monster killed, and it's going to grant you 15 gold and experience per treat that it receives. So no doubt we'll probably get into these in a future video just to help clarify things and how it actually works, but the new jungle pet system definitely sounds interesting. Will it be good? We'll have to find out. Now, a couple more changes here, guys, and we're pretty much done. So first of all, the Scuttle Crab is getting nerfed. No longer has a shield, so you don't actually have to break the shield. So for champions who don't actually have CC in their kit, who can just break the shield just by CCing the crab, so champions like Nidalee, this is a really big buff for them, and it's going to make it a lot easier just to one-shot the crab and get it over with. And the final change, guys, in the game to think about is to Krugs. So the big Krug, you know how it normally breaks into 2 medium Krugs, now it's going to break into 4 small Krugs. This is going to accelerate your Krug clear and make them just better to actually get, so maybe clearing your whole red side and then full clearing after that. This just sounds more viable. So any comments, guys, on these changes we have been through in this video, let me know down below. And if you did enjoy it and you want us to update you continuously, depending on what Riot are going to change in the preseason, make sure you hit that like button. And until our next season 12 or even season 13, preseason 13 upload, this has been a space.